Welcome back to Nifty Network. Today we have a 350Z on the lift, and I'm going to teach you how to install carbon fiber doors on it. Let's get to it. Everything I'm working with is very light right now, and there's wind, and it keeps blowing, but I don't want to scratch these. But we're going to open these up, and we're going to put them on this car. We have the old door off already. Old door is very easy to get off. You have 110, you have a plug, and you have 4 nuts to take off. So then the door comes off. And I wouldn't say the hard part, but the time-consuming part is gutting the door, which is all that stuff right there. So I'm going to take all the wrap off of this and mount this door first, and then put all the guts inside. Alright, so we got this thing unwrapped. Oh my gosh. Brand new carbon is always so satisfying. Sorry, I had a little shiny objects moment there. First things first is we're going to loosen these nuts right here. We can take the nuts and the washers off of here actually. And then the first thing we're going to be installing is the actual door stopper. So when you open your door, it stops. You want to put this on first because you're not going to be able to access it that well once the door is mounted. So these are the door stoppers on the old doors. And this just takes a little bit of brain power to put on. Not a lot, but just a little. So if you have your door, how it's supposed to go on, it's in the same direction. Then you look at this, and you know that the hole is on the inside. That means you just take your door stopper and you put it in this way. Once it's in there, just hand thread these on, and then we can tighten these when it's on the door. Alright, so we're going to pick up our door, and we're going to grab a couple washers, a couple nuts. You're going to walk over here, and what I like to do is I'll put the hardware right here on the windshield. And you just line those up on the bottom, like so. We're going to mount our top nut like we always do first. Top one is mounted. And then what I want to do is I'm going to let the door kind of hang like this. I'm going to go in here. I know I put the 10 mil bolt that goes right here in here. So I kind of spoke on this on the removal of this, but this is a 12 mil thread with a 10 mil head. It's a very specific bolt, but it just goes right there. And the reason I'm doing this before doing the bottom hinges is because it's very windy today, and I don't want this door slamming and breaking anything. So that's just threaded, started. I'm going to grab the rest of the hardware. And then now that I have everything connected here, I'm going to tighten down the stopper latch because you don't want that moving around. And we'll actually test fit the door shutting right now, which is scary. Once we get some weight in there, it should hold it a little better.
These doors look good.
All right, so the door is on. I'm going to start off with putting this harness through here. And it's going to go in the factory location like that. And we're going to put our boot. There's a little boot in here. So that's keeping it weather tight. And to get this in there, we need to shut the door just a tiny bit to get us some room. Bring this down. Sorry if I'm totally blocking everything. And once we feel it go in, we'll get this flush on the plug, and we're going to take this lever and go up with the lever, and that locks it in. So now we can open the door back up and not worry about the door hitting. And then we're going to route the harness. So I know that this hole goes right here, this grommet. So I'm gonna drill this out and Dremel this to where it fits, to where this little seal right here is small enough to go in there. I'm actually gonna measure the factory door just so you guys have a measurement to like start off with. So the factory hole size is 2 3/4 outer diameter. So you could get like a 2.5 inch hole saw if you want, or you can do 2 3/4. All right, so I got a spray paint can, and this actually fits in the hole on the stock door really well, and you can see that it fits on here really well too. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna eliminate this inside lip right here. So all of this is going bye-bye in here. So I'm gonna do this with the right way to do it would be to get a hole saw, but we're actually going to use this. This is like a Dremel with a drill attachment. I initially was gonna use a step bit or a Christmas tree bit, and I was just gonna kind of do the same thing with this, but this being a smaller drill bit and it cuts on the sides, it should work pretty good. So that works hella good. That was amazing. Did you see that just now? Were you watching it? That works super good.
This stuff actually smells good.
It's really bad for you to breathe. All right, so now that we have our hole drilled, we're gonna put our harness through here. And then there's a little arrow right here. And I believe that is a reference. I'll check the other door, but I'm pretty sure it goes down. We'll double check. Okay, well, I was wrong. Reference goes forward. So there's a little arrow right there, and that's gonna go that way. So we're gonna take this now, and we're just gonna rock this forward. That goes there, and then this is for the speaker. That goes there. Looks like there's some factory plugs that we can drill out so that we can reuse the clips. We'll get to that spot when we need to. And then I'm gonna take this, take the door lock actuator, and I'm just gonna put it on the bottom for now. And then we'll grab the door lock actuator with the hardware, and we'll put that in. And then after that, we'll do the door handle. I need to cut some holes still. And then this one is for passenger side. So I'm gonna take this off just because right now it is unneeded to be on. There are 3 tapered bolts that go in here. And the reason they're tapered is because so everything fits like that. I'm gonna blow this off first. Oh, dusty. We may have to do some trimming on the door lock actuator right here. So I'm just gonna set this where it goes, and then I come up here because we know that this little piece sets in there. At least it's staying. Okay, so we'll tighten these down. And when you're working with carbon, I try not to use an impact, or if you are using an impact, don't get them tight. You want to feel it. You want to be able to see what's going on. Obviously, you are going to hear a little crunching. because you're squeezing the material between the bolt and the actual actuator. Let's just get it to like a feel where it feels like it's tight and it's not gonna like break it. Obviously, we're not trying to break it here. So I'll go over this. All right, so we have the actuator tight on here, and I was gonna trim this, but I'm gonna wait until I put the door regulator plate on here just to see, because the only reason that we would really trim that is if something didn't fit right. But this got pretty flush on here, so that would be my biggest concern now, is dremeling the holes out to access the back of the door handle so you can get to the 10 mils. So let's do that now. We got one more right here. Okay, now we can start fitting some carbon goodies on here, which is always exciting. This is the driver mirror. So we got passenger right there. And what we're gonna do is, so we have to think about this this little tab right here. What that does is it holds in the bottom of the door handle. So we may have to trim that in a little bit, which is totally fine. All right, so we got that actuator in and it fits good. We set the door handle in here. I can show you. I always like to do this first. So there's a little Phillips on here that actually squeezes it down here in the bottom. We will end up adding that, but for putting this in and out a bunch of times, I'm going to leave it off until we're ready. We know that it fits good. So now, when we take this out, we'll see there's like a little dimple right here in the actual carbon. And there's a little dimple right there. So I'm going to start in the center of that. I'm going to set the door handle back in there. And I'm going to see where that little tiny, this hole, where that lines up in coordination with this. So you don't just want to blast a big hole right there. Take your time. You got to take things on, take things off. When you're dealing with aftermarket carbon parts like this, the molds change over time. The heat, the weather, everything plays an effect in how the door fits. So we're going to start small and then test fit. So then we come on this side and we can see that looks like our hole for our door handle is perfectly centered on there. I may need to trim on. So what you can do is you can mark with a pen on the back side where it actually needs to get trimmed. So I can see the right side of this rivet showing, which means I need to trim on the left side of the hole to open that, because we have the door handle where it wants to be. And then if you look at the bottom, looks like that hole just needs to get bigger as well. And remember, you can always trim more. Cool, so take a look at that on this back side. See how that hole is perfectly in the center of that?
Oh yeah.
That is why you pre-drill, or you pre-mark your hole with a smaller one, and then you look at the reference to see where it's actually going to land. Okay. Now on this bottom one, it needs to get closer to this edge. All right, so I took the presser, whatever. See, we work with so many things that I don't know the names of everything. I don't know what this door lock actuator post is actually called, but the post that hangs off of your door handle that goes down, which pushes on your actuator, which is right here. So this does that when you open your handle. But we got this all fit it up. And let's see this. We're gonna slide this in first. Gonna line up this post in here. Okay, so now that's lined up. We're gonna bring this up just a tiny bit. And she's locked in. And you can see that I put this tab back on here. So I'm gonna reach up in here. Can you see that good? No? Okay, so initially I had this, the bottom holder of the handle. I'd taken it off to make sure that it fits good. But now since we're getting closer to like final mount, I put that on there. You'll tighten this once you have your door handle tightened. You can see that the rod going down is in the correct spot for the actuator. And you can see that it should work. So moving in there, that's a good thing. And now we can finish mounting this door handle just by putting these 10s on here. And down on the bottom, there's a tab down there on this one in this hole. You can see that the amount of material that is there isn't that big. So I'm going to get a washer, like a decent sized washer, and I'm going to actually put that in between the bolts. So that gives a bigger surface area so that it squeezes harder on that and it doesn't weaken that, that part of the tab that we had to trim. Okay, so hopefully this is final test fit, or test mount, I guess you could say. Actuator is going in right there. I'm going to make sure this bottom part slides in. So this is not the OEM door handle hardware either. I wanted to grab bolts that had a bigger surface area like I was talking about, and then I still ended up grabbing a washer for that bottom one. This will help you by grabbing a magnetic socket when you're doing door handles, because you put this thing in here and you wiggle around, and if your door's all together, then your bolt goes like this, and you're like, but if you use a magnetic one, it won't drop. That's for people with OEM doors. This is just for carbon doors, because like that only works if your door is completely apart, like you can just reach in and grab it. But if your door is complete, make sure to use a magnetic socket. Check fitment, make sure everything is looking good. Alright, so we are removing these prized possession of offenders. He has like hand shaped these, I've said that a few times. I need to move the door a little bit forward, and I have to take the fender off to move it. So I called him, he gave me the okay. I still don't want to take them off because it's very nerve-wracking. I would hate for something to happen to these fenders. I would hate for anything to happen to anyone's car. I don't want it to come off. Like, this one is more important than anything, but most fenders aren't like hand built like this one is. I don't know where to put it.
To keep it safe, right?
So I'm loosening these, not tightening these, so don't roast me for using an impact. So this adjustment here will give you tilt of the door. Like, see how it's moving around like this? And it needs... Right now what we're trying to focus on is getting this door to latch. So I need to loosen these front ones to bring the door forward just a tad.
I had no clue there was adjustment for doors. I thought it was like, it just is.
There's not a lot. There's not a lot, but... So now I'm going to get the shimming correct on this. Cool.
Nice.
Door shut's good. Obviously they're carbon doors, so you're not gonna have... They're carbon doors that are not completely back together yet, so you're not gonna have like that firm sound of a metal door, but no resistance. Cool. So this one, now that we've got the door to where it shuts good, I'm able to start mounting this stuff. That looks like it's going to need to be cut just a tiny bit, because that's going to go all the way down and we're hitting right here. So we need a little trimmage there. And that goes down, let's say about a half. So somewhere like that. And like I always say, you can cut more. It's easier to cut than add material. So we need to do a little bit more. Same spot, but a little bit more. Needs a little more right there, because you can see this opening is hitting. So right now I am trimming this to perfection. Obviously, if you're somebody that doesn't care about your car, you can do this like a fast way, but it's not the right way in my opinion. I'm just trimming this door line back because it's a millimeter too big, which is nobody's fault. I mean, it's a aftermarket carbon fiber door, like I said, that's been in through different weather, been sitting for years. So I just need to trim a little bit more right here. It's literally, you're not even gonna be able to tell that I trimmed anything. The amount that I'm trimming off is the amount under the tape right there. So it's literally this little distance right there. That's all I'm trimming right now. But the tape is here because I lined it up with the existing edge. And I just want the felt trim right here to go on nicely and not have to get beat down, and then I break the door, then everyone's mad at me. So yeah.
Wait, so the door can break by doing that?
If I hit down on the door, I mean, yeah, it weighs like a pound. There's a car. I mean, it's not supposed to.
Right.
Who knows? There are some companies that make doors and people drive into them all the time, like for drifting.
Yeah.
And nothing happens. But I don't want to be the one to find out
Right.
what happens. It's just my job to install it. I don't have the whistling diesel job of destroying everything. Here's to go down just a tiny bit more, but it's hitting right there. It's hitting right there. All right, so I finished doing the upper door belt molding. That's on. If you look down this line right here, you can see that it's perfectly even down the whole thing. Now I'm getting a little tiny baby drill bit. I'm gonna get a 3/32 one, and I'm gonna drill a tiny little hole. And the reason I'm doing that is so that I can put that screw in there, and then it's like OEM. Like that. And now this won't go anywhere. And now, I'm kind of working my way down. There's no specific way. I just decided to do this first. All right, so now we're gonna grab the passenger side window track mirror mount portion, and we're gonna look over here, and we know that these two holes are reference holes for this. So we'll put this in here. We know we can't mount this yet because we need to drill holes. We can see that those holes are in the right spot. So that one's here, and then we're gonna go, let me out a little bit. We're gonna go inside, and I see that the stud right here is dragging on the back of it right in front of this tab, which is another indent. See this little opening? So I'm gonna drill these 3 holes. I'll mark them. So I need to drill that, and this guy right there. Okay, so now let's drop this in. And this bottom adjustment right here actually will change the pitch of the window. So say that when we get the window on here and the window is shutting like too far in, then I back this nut off and it'll make it, you back the nut off and then there's a flathead in here, which is the adjuster. And then that will pitch the window like in or out up here. All right, now that we have the, you don't have to do it in this order either. I had forgotten to do this, so that's why we're actually going over this. So I put the mirror mount, the window track in, and I look down and I see this plug here, and this plug is actually for the actuator. So don't forget to plug in your actuator. It's down here on the bottom. Just that. That's it. All right, so now we have the window regulator plate. We're gonna go over here, and I know this isn't just gonna drop in because there's gonna be holes that need to get drilled, but I need to know where the holes go. And I know everything that we've drilled has already been pre-marked, but I just like to double check. So you can see that the regulator plate has two locating pins, one there and one here. The door has two dimpled little circles there and right there. So we need to drill that out, and then this regulator will sit in there. Okay, so let's see if my Dremel skills are up to par. There's one in. Oh, don't squeeze your don't squeeze your harness. There we go. So we'll mount these.
Rolling.
Alright, so I'm just going to go around here and hand thread these in. Alright, so I got this bolted up. That's all tight. Now I'm going to start putting the harness back together. I need to drill out the speaker hole. And then this also gets mounted up here. So I got to drill that still. This also gets mounted up there as well. This door, or this one, I'm assuming goes there. And this is for the, this one? I don't know what this one's for. I'll have to get back to you on that one. But this is for the window switches. And we got a speaker. And then we got window controls. And this one, oh, this one's for cup holder. Because this is a 2008 car. So it has the updated, this lights up your cup holder.
What's this?
I knew you were going to ask me.
What is this?
Oh.
What are those? Are those Gunadors?
These are Ganadors. Hot boy. I don't know what that sticker is, but I'm going to leave it because it makes it look legit. Time to put these in. So we're going to send the wires through like that. And we're going to tip the tip of the mirror in that little boot. We're going to go on this side, and we're going to put it where it is happy. So now this part is very important to do right. You got to get a drill bit that's small enough but also big enough to let that go through, and I have to do it 17, 18, 19 times. I just have to be perfect 19 times in a row, like that ever happens.
I think it will.
Alright, so I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to mark, I guess we'll do blue. I'm going to mark, because you can see they already have marks, but I'm going to go through and remark it just so I don't miss any. Might have to do those by freehand because there's no markings for it. But there's also this one, and there's that one. And you gotta be very careful when you're drilling this, because what's on the other side of this?
Carbon fiber.
Beautiful carbon fiber. So go slow, especially on parts that are close. Like These two are really important. These ones, you can send the drill in, but like going too fast this way could be detrimental.
You don't have to worry about wire harness.
No, that's way... When I tucked it, I'd put it in this split over here. But one thing, since we're talking, there's these little squares right here. You need to drill those out. And the reason you drill those out is because these are actually for your drains. So when it's raining, your door doesn't fill up with water. So it drains out the bottom. This is a factory thing. There's 3 of them. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. So we'll drill little holes in that. Okay, so I got one more to do right there. First shot. Ain't too bad. I'm just putting this up here for now because I want to shut the door and make sure that everything shuts good. That looks good.
Oh yeah.
There we go. More trimming.
What happened?
So, needs a little bit more trimming. And I'll show you where. I guess those were good sized holes I drilled. It looks like this whole piece needs to come out of here.
Drain holes.
I'm only going to do 2. I'm going to do one in the front and one in the back. Because 4 is a tad bit unnecessary. Alright, so I got the window in. The little magnetic socket trick again will help you. So we're going to get the window bolted in. And it'll work back here. So there's 3 mounts for this. And then I'll shut the door and align it. It's actually pretty good. And the reason I say that is because when the car's battery is off right now, but when these doors shut, they push up. So that looks like it'll be about perfect. Maybe slide this back a tiny bit actually, because it looks like, yeah, there's a little air gap right here. So let's pull the window back. Whenever you make adjustment, open it and shut it every time to make sure that you're not way too far back like how I just did. So that looks pretty good. Halfway there. Got the whole other side to do. Alright, so final piece right here. We'll slide that there. This goes here. These fenders got to go under this tab, but in order to get under there, they need to pry up on this just a tab, so that does that. Alright, and there we go. Fender is back on. We got no rubs. Door shuts. Obviously it'll go up once the car has a battery in it. Check that out. Fitment's pretty good. Alright. Everything is done. The only thing left to do, obviously, is to drill holes for the door panels. We don't have the door panels because they're getting upholstered. So when he gets the door panels, he'll drill holes where they clip into the door. Anyways, or other than that, everything is done. The fitment is really good, I think, especially for an aftermarket carbon fiber door that is matched up with a completely custom kit. It's kind of nice that everything fit and I didn't have to trim any of the like actual door or the kit for that matter to make this work. And that is how you install carbon fiber doors with working windows on your 350Z. I'll see you in the next one.